It's Cathy Cress again, and I am back, and I am doing my new playlist, partnering with a private duty home care agency if you're a geriatric care management agency. And how do you do that, and why shouldn't you have your own private duty home care agency? I'm going to do a blog on March 15th about state laws for private duty home care agencies. So if whatever state you're watching from, you can see the state licensing laws, which have gotten really tight around private duty home care agencies. Another reason to be really cautious to do this. So what you're going to have to do is to figure out a pool of care. You have to ask a number of questions of the private duty home care agency. You should be probably partnering with one, but to have backup is a really good idea. So you want to know the private duty home care agencies in the area that you're serving, and you can just get that from the web and approach them and ask if they want to be your partner. And that's really important. And the first thing you want to ask them is, do they have remember, if you go back, I just talked about the problems private duty's having now. They can't find care providers all over the country. It's a big problem. So you want to find out, do they have a big pool of care providers? That's really important. You want really probably 100, because you are going to have to staff 2-hour cases, 4-hour cases, up to 24, and nobody does 24. Live-ins are really problematic now. You would want to do 3 on a shift, and that's 7 days a week. If you have 10 cases, you need a pool of about 100. So you want to make sure they have a large pool. You want to make sure the salary's fair enough, because care providers lift more than truck drivers. This is a terrible. This can be, unless it's a calling to the care provider, and that's what you want in a care provider. This is a very hard job. So you want to make sure that they're paid well for what they do, and ask about that. And make sure that they, first of all, have a staffing coordinator. That's critical. The owner is not staffing. If the owner is staffing, don't use them. If they have a staffing coordinator, does she staff on paper? If so, don't use them, because this takes a computer, a staffing database. So does she or he have a staffing database? That means you can staff really fast, because it's done through algorithms. If you don't know what an algorithm is, it just that's what Google is. You say, how do I back up my iPhone? I asked that this morning. Bing! It was there in 3 seconds. You want to know, can I get a care provider who speaks Spanish, who lives in North LA, and who has a car? Bang! She's there. That's a staffing database. You want one. And you want to know, what's their hourly minimum. Usually, they don't do more than, less than 4 hours. Because, people have to drive, say in Los Angeles, it's a long time to commute between jobs. This is really important, ask, do they have a policy of supervision, discipline, and firing? That's labor board ease. And that means that, that they are following labor laws you just can't fire somebody. You have to have cause. And you have to supervise them, in a certain period, or they've taken money, fire them then. But they've got to follow labor laws. So ask all these questions first. And lastly, can they staff at night? Because there's all sorts of emergency staffing in geriatric care management cases. So once you've gotten past that, we'll go to the next step of how you screen these agencies. And always watch go to my website, cathycress.com, and I will see you next time with our playlist.